Hello everybody and welcome back. On today's episode in Heroes of the Storm we are going to be playing... It doesn't look like he has eyes. Like, it just looks like he has pipes going into his head to hold his hat in place. And I guess he's a skeleton, so he doesn't really need eyes, but like, look at the portrait in the bottom. This is Kel'Thuzad. Today's team comps are going to be Tychus, Anduin, Zul, Kel'Thuzad, Artanis versus Nazebo, Orphea, Whitemane, Leoric, and Kel'Thas. So KT versus KT, look at that. Today I am going to try to... how do I explain it? Kel'Thuzad is just a very difficult character to play. He is extremely strong, though, in the right hands, given that he has a built-in ridiculous amount of spell power with his quest, and lots of things just in his kit that are built to snowball into extreme victory. Kel'Thuzad is a mage at the end of the day, though, so he is squishy. He is mostly skill shot. He's all skill shot, sorry. And he is just generally... He's got a lot of wind up to everything that he's doing. His quest included. The amount of stacking that you have to do with the character to make him really effective is insane. So, this video in particular, I'm going to try to make it easier to pick out just how to play Kel'Thuzad in a way that you can get accustomed to him, his kit, his talents, and all the other stuff that he does, so you can delve into the more important parts of who he is as a hero. The character, well, I guess we could just talk about his abilities specifically. If you don't know, Kel'Thuzad, like I said, he's a mage. His Q is called Death and Decay, and it is a ball of blue death magic that he just Hadoukens out into the middle of nothingness. And then if it hits something, it explodes, leaves a big damage puddle. You can see it on the minion wave right there. Does an actually, like, fuck ton of damage if people get stuck in it. So it's really, really, really good. Our W is going to be Frost Nova, and it is going to make a big circle on the ground. It is going to detonate that circle after a short delay. Anybody caught in the very center circle is going to be rooted and held in place for 2.5 seconds. No. Rooted for 1 second. Slowed for 2.5 seconds, rooted for 1. And then our E is going to be Chains of Kel'Thuzad. It is a straight line skill shot, just fires it out. If it connects with someone, though, suddenly you get to fire off another chain. And if that hits someone else, those two people are yoinked together and stunned. Very briefly. It is going to be 0.5 seconds stun. So, with all of these delays on all of his abilities, with the exception of his E, you can kind of see this combo playstyle for Kel'Thuzad coming into existence, right? You're going to hit your E, you're going to have someone CC'd, you're going to make sure that they are still enough to have your W hit them. And then once they're rooted by your W, you hit them with the Q, and they're stuck in this puddle of cold death damage for a pretty consistent amount of time where they're just going to die. That is Kel'Thuzad's whole combo mage outlook on life. Ooh, big fucking root. And he is going to have to hit the center of his W and his E to get stacks for his quest, which leads us into his trait, which is Master of the Cold Dark. We are going to get 1 blight stack for every time that we hit a person with our chain, or pull them together with our chains. And we're going to get 1 per hero hit with the center root of our Frost Nova, which is our W. So we have to get 30 in total to get all the rewards, which is going to be 30. It's going to give us 75% spell power, which is nuts. But once you hit your halfway point, which is the 8 or 15 out of 30, you're going to unlock the new ability Glacial Spike. And this is going to make your combo much easier to land. You can see it right now. Oh, just barely missed him with the root. The spike, you can chain your... you can chain heroes to, because for some reason it counts as a hero. Anyway, they just gave him an anchor, something that he doesn't have to aim at a moving hero all the time. So if you chain a person to your spike, your combo is insanely easy to land, and there you have it, the person's dead. Now, that is all baked into base kit. I know that's a lot of information for one character to have, and it is all very, very relevant to Kel'Thuzad's kit. Wanted the stack, but couldn't get it. So you have to be aware of all that stuff going on. You have to know how many stacks you have. You have to know when you can chain to your spike, when you have to chain to another hero, how to land the appropriate chains, all that stuff. So all that aside, I'm going to tell you specifically before I get into how this build works and how Kel'Thuzad as a character really works for me in this playstyle. I'm going to give you a tip for your chain and your root combo. Never, ever, ever put your W down after you have chained. You always want to put your root in the center of the two targets that you're going to chain together, and you're going to have to put it at the halfway point, because when it's pulling them, they still have flight time. But if it's pulling two heroes together, they are going to average out in the middle. So, if you wait for them to bump together, remember the stud on your chain is very short. So if you put it down after the chain pulls them together, they are going to immediately walk out. They might get slowed by the ability, but they're not going to get rooted. They're not going to give you stacks. They're not going to, take all the damage that you need them to take. So you have to basically estimate where the two of them are going to be yoinked together. You have to put your W down first, and then you have to land your E. And if that isn't complicated enough, I don't know what other character in this game could be harder than that to figure out. Like, holy shit. The amount of eyeballing you have to do with Kel'Thuzad is actually fucking mind-blowing. Which is why the build that I've opted to go with is the Q build. The build that we are going to dig into his Q, Death and Decay, rather than putting all of our eggs in the burst damage basket. We are going to do a lot of damage for it's still burst damage. You see there, it didn't even pull her all the way back to the spike. It got maximum chain range, but she didn't go all the way. So I didn't have the calculation as to where she was going to land, so my root went in the wrong spot, which sucks. But anyway, Q build lets us just kind of really easily land Kel'Thuzad's simplest skill shot, which is his Q. If that hits anything, whether it's a minion, a mercenary, a hero, a building, whatever, it's going to do that puddle of damage, and is going to do a lot. Now, given that our team has solid roots, we have some pretty solid front line, we have a lot going on that we could just fling out and let the damage happen. We're not necessarily going to kill people or get the finishing blow on people, but we are going to set up a lot of damage for our team to just kind of run it in and take them out. Not to mention that our chains of Kel'Thuzad are a very strong ranged engage. So not only do we set kills up with damage, we set kills up with CC from a safe distance, so our team can kind of just act on their own volition to do anything. But all that being said, Kel'Thuzad, we'll go over the build. I did misclick in the build. It's not necessarily the worst thing in the world, but we'll get to that. Plague Lands, all your level 1 talents are going to get an added bonus once you hit 30 stacks of Blight, which we have. But first off, it's going to increase the duration of the puddle there for 1 whole second afterwards. And let's see. Every 0.5 seconds, it's going to do 110 damage. So, right there, shit. That is another 200 some odd damage that we've added to it just by picking level 1 quest. Pretty fucking cool. Once we hit 30 though, the radius gets 30% bigger, so the puddle is even bigger, and it's able to do more damage. Pretty nice, right? You can hit buildings, you can hit both gate and wall with it, and shred buildings pretty easily, if we're being honest. A little bit far for the chain to land, but we're just going to keep throwing Qs into the mix. We don't actually have to keep very close for this either. I'm going to stand there. I missed the chain on a moving or a stationary target, and White Mane is just going to casually walk away from my root, and I'm going to just fucking feed. Just total feed. Total feed. Really unfortunate stuff. But level 4, early on, Kel'Thuzad gets the Phylactery of Kel'Thuzad. This ability is going to be a globe quest that you pick up 12 globes, and then you get 10% spell power once you have all those globes. If you so choose, when you die, you can use all the globes that you've collected, go back to 0, and respawn instantly, which is fucking insane, because Malthael has to wait to level 20 to get a talent like this, with much bigger drawbacks. So, Phylactery is absolutely fucking nuts, and I think is probably the best talent on the tier, bar none. Armor of the Archlich. You can make cases for the other ones, but Phylactery is just constantly good value. No matter what build you go, no matter how you're playing him, as long as you're getting globes, KT is going to do stupid amounts of damage with that increase. At level 7, what I wanted to pick up was... Ooh, that's an attune. And, well, let's just chase White Mane down with our abilities. Look at that! She died in the death puddle. It's good stuff. Okay, he got yoinked and swapped. I think he got swapped first, and then pulled while swapped. So, yoink swap, you're welcome. That's a new term I've decided to create for HOTS specifically. Level 7, I wanted to pick Accelerated Decay, and what I ended up picking was Chilling Touch. You poor darling. The Samurai was not having any of your shit, was he? Chilling Touch isn't bad. Every 8 seconds, we're going to get 80% additional damage out of our auto attacks, and they are going to slow, which is just another really easy way for us to set up damage with our combo and, you know, as a character in general. It's really good. But the... Let's see. Nope. Accelerated Decay increases the damage that we take from, or that they take from the puddle, stacking up to 4 times. It just makes your Death and Decay do lots and lots and lots of damage. Yeah. So if you're building Q, just go straight Q. You can take Chilling Touch if you want to. It's not the worst thing in the world. I've also opted to pick up Frost Blast for this build because it is the more consistent of his 2 ultimates. Your Shadow Fisher, which is this bad boy, is going to require that you land your combo first, that you root the hero, and then after you have effectively gotten all of that stuff done, the Shadow Fisher will have had enough time to warm up and do all the burst damage that it does. That said, it is very much... you have to be aware of your combo, you have to be very good at your combo, you have to be very good at a lot of things to make that go right. Now, when you hit those, you will flat out kill people entirely, depending on your build, but I'm not good at that, and I don't want to teach you to do all the things that I do when I'm bad. Oh my god. I thought for sure Leo would have come out of his Unstoppable before then, but I guess he didn't. Yeah, I'm not trying to teach you bad habits because I'm bad at playing that. If you want to see somebody play KT good, there are lots of streamers who do that. Lots of pretty decent Hero League players who do that. Storm League? What? Ranked players who do that. But anyway, Frost Blast is just consistent. It's going to lock people together. It's just point and click. Game's over for them. At 13, I did pick up Chains of Ice, which is going to slow after they get pulled, which is just going to make the Frost Nova easier to land and the Death and Decay harder to get out of. But usually you'll take the Chain Link to reduce the cooldown and the mana cost. At 16, we're building Q again, so Arcane Echoes is just where to go. Just going to reduce the cooldown. Anytime that we hit an enemy hero with the Death and Decay explosion, which is pretty easy when they're all bunched up. I'm not going to lie to you, it's like you just pitch a Q, hope that it hits something, and usually it's just going to hit fucking everybody. Just ridiculously good ability. And I think it is the most undervalued part of KT's kit. 261. Oh, yeah. It's just. How do I explain to everybody how much this ability can really do? Anyway, the 20 talent that we would have picked up probably would have been dependent on how the game was going. Since we were winning really hard, it would have been no big deal either way. But the Frost Blast upgrade sets off more Root Novas and damage under people who die, which is fucking hilarious, but it also has to kill people. So you have to make sure that your team kills the target who's getting hit with your ultimate for that level 20 talent to be the goodest. You can also take, I think it's Shade of Death, or maybe Shade of Naxxramas, but it's basically a Chromie Echo who is going to throw Qs when you throw Qs. So you're going to pick a place, put the shade down, and you're both going to throw Death and Decay out. And I think the shade lives like 4 or 5 seconds. He lives for a very long time, and then once he's dead, his cooldown is enough that you could just put him right down again and keep throwing double Qs out. It's ridiculous how strong that ability is, coupled with the most sleeper ability in Kel'Thuzad's kit, which is Death and Decay. I like it for the consistent damage. It's so much better than trying to land your combo just over and over again. It's also much more, much less stressful, you know? You know what I'm saying? But anyway, 44,000, top in the room, just barely missing it, Tychus. You came close. I died more times too. But I hope this video was informative. I know the build, I didn't get to go into the foggiest details of the build, but hopefully you learned a little bit of something about this character. Let me know if there was something I didn't touch on that doesn't make sense to you for Kel'Thuzad, because, like I said, his kit and his character in general are very complicated. But he is a very, very high reward for very, very highly skilled players. So, thanks for watching. I'll be back next week with some different stuff. Hopefully. We'll find out. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, YouTube your heart out, and I will see you next time.